I been living around this morning through rain. Hidden pain, hidden tears. Had to keep them locked away. I done shed so many tears. Heal my heart, save my soul. I bury my heart anew. They've been working on my soul, but I'm so blessed. Leave it up to God, so right now I just worry less. Yeah. Heal my heart, save my soul.
Kato, you way too dumb, kid.
The pain from my past.
Your name and where you're from?
Okay, Davonte, and I'm from St Lucia. I'm sure most of y'all or persons have heard of our beautiful island, so yeah.
How's your family life growing up?
My family life growing up was pretty normal. I mean, my mom had 10 kids, inclusive of myself, so I had a very large family. I have a very family oriented. I was never alone, well taken care of, well cared for, and have always been accepted by my family.
So tell me about high school.
High school was a breeze for me. I was always a straight A student who I was very shy at school, extremely shy. I wouldn't speak to people until I got to maybe Form 4, Form 5. Then I became wild because I believe I was starting to understand who I am as a person. But in like Form 1, Form 2, it was very difficult because I was battling with my sexuality on the inside and was scared of judgment, didn't want to be taken advantage of, and so on. So I was more of an introvert at that time.
What events made you understand your sexuality?
What events made me understand my sexuality? It wasn't an event, but it was more of a person like my mom. Couldn't understand why I was so quiet and so reserved. And I guess parents always know, even if you don't tell them. And she had a conversation with me to let me know how much she loves and appreciates me. And no matter what happened, I will always be her child. And she has my back no matter what. So
Knowing that you had support from your parents, how did that change your personality going forward in school?
at that point in time, I really didn't care about what anybody else think, and I didn't care how persons treated me. I didn't care what people had to say. I didn't care how they think. Because remember, St Lucia is a small island. And back then, even now, it's homophobic. People do not understand that we are not all the same. People do not understand the difference between sexuality and an individual. If you're homosexual, then for them alone, you're worth nothing. But I had to take a stance, and I had to believe in myself. And I had to get strong.
What are some of the struggles you faced at growing up in St. Lucia, being open about who you are?
I was one of the few open gays in St. Lucia, and it was extremely, every time I have to speak about that, like it takes me to a place where I don't want to be. But growing up openly gay in St. Lucia was extremely difficult, to the point where bus drivers didn't want you going up the bus. The kids didn't want to play with you. The kids didn't want to play with you. Teachers were very mean to you. I've gotten bottled, spat on, beaten up. Yeah. I've been through a lot as an openly gay individual, put out of events just because of who I am. Go to the club, you're at the club and you're enjoying yourself, and the DJ is on the mic disrespecting you, calling at that point when let's assume the DJ said fire burn a batty boy, and everybody know you're gay. Now everybody's attention is on you. Now the guys in the club feel it's okay to maybe pass and slap you, or maybe send a drink on you, or pass and push you because the DJ is now encouraging or giving them the strength to treat you differently.
Do you think that the people that acted this way towards you was just, I would say, ignorant to the fact that you're just different, or do you think it's like a cultural thing? Like,
I believe it's a bit of both, because I'm not sure for the US, but in the Caribbean, our mentality is if our parents don't like it, we don't like it too. If our parents are Democrats, then we're Democrats too. We don't read and educate ourselves and do things differently from the way our parents did it. Only now, in the current times, people are trying to break away from that. But I feel it has a lot to do with people being ignorant and not opening themselves up and not reading and not realizing that St. Lucia is not the world, you know. But a lot of it had to do with what they see their parents did and what probably they heard their parents say about gay people, because a lot of people have that mentality that gay people we're the devils. And it's just what it is.
What's the worst thing you think that gay people go through in the Caribbean, or I would say in St. Lucia?
In St. Lucia, it has gotten a lot better from what I heard. It has gotten a lot better. But I think the worst thing that you could go through as a gay person is not being able to be yourself. And being yourself, you have to be careful where you be yourself at, what area you're in, who's around you. You have to hide your true self. And that alone could cause so much psychological problems and persons wanting to kill themselves, because the only thing every human wants is to be able to be yourself and be happy being yourself. And being a gay person in St. Lucia, you're not able to do that. That could cause internal harm.
So tell me the difference between the culture here in the US versus back in the islands.
Okay, now we're getting a little bit more interesting. The culture here is a lot more open, more accepting. I was able to, when I got to New York, I always say to people, that's when I truly and fully found out who I was and was able to express myself the way that I feel. The culture here is a lot more accepting. You do find the usual looks and so on, but persons don't go as far as, well, I have never experienced people calling you names, or people trying to hit you. I've never experienced that. And I walk the streets in my heels, my makeup, my hair, and I'm just doing me. But in St. Lucia, I was unable to do that self-expression thing that could have cost me my life back home.
So what do you think that what laws or what do you think needs to be implemented in St. Lucia or in islands where, you know, they don't accept different people? What do you think needs to be in place where it could be more accepting and people could live more freely?
There's a lot I think that they could do. First of all, I believe they should get rid of the burglary law. You cannot tell somebody what to do if they body in their bedroom. The burglary law needs to go.
I'm not familiar with that law. Could you explain to me?
Well, basically, if two men are caught having sex, you're liable to take jail.
Really?
Yes.
That's a law in St. Lucia?
Not only St. Lucia, most Caribbean islands, if not all.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think up to 10 years jail. I think, if I'm not mistaken, yes.
That's a law today?
Yes,
it
is.
2022?
It is, yes.
I did not know about that.
I know. When I say to persons, they're shocked and don't understand how in this time and age a country could be so Stone Age. Also, I believe that they need to educate police officers on how to deal with matters where our community is concerned. Because in St. Lucia, you would go as a gay person to make a report to the police officers based on whatever incident that happens. And instead of them helping, well, that's what I used to experience, they would make fun out of you. They wouldn't want to assist you. They would probably assist you, listen to what you say, write down a few things, and never follow up. So I believe they need to be educated, especially when it comes to dealing with my community.
Do you think it's the education needs to be done on a level where it's just law enforcement and you know, people who are like serve the community, or do you think they need to be educated on a much higher level where they try to reach out to every individual to let them understand that, you know, people who live different lives are just as important to the community as everyone else?
We contribute a lot more than my community contributes a lot more than people think. Maybe I should say that instead.
Give me an example.
We're talented. You know what I'm saying? We do interior designs. We in every field you could think of in St. Lucia. So we contribute a lot. And if right now you go to the prisons, you don't find us committing crimes and doing those things and being delinquent. So I mean, of course, we definitely would need to educate on a broader base, instead of just concentrating on the police officers, because not only are we fabulous, I mean, we contribute so much to society, and we just want to just live and be normal and be accepted and not feel like we're committing a crime when we do what we want to do.
So if you're advising people in power in St. Lucia that are able to make certain changes, like what are some of the basic things you would recommend? Or what are the basic things that you think that could put in place where we could have, a better understanding of who we are and how we live together without any
I
issues?
will say this. I mean, you know that I have a huge following, and you know that I'm very much well known in the Caribbean. I have had a sit down with our current Prime Minister about 6 months ago. We had a long conversation, and I did speak to him. And in him speaking to me, I totally understood where he's coming from. It takes a lot of legwork in order to do what he wants to do for us. And he did show me what he wants to do for my community.
Which is?
Well, I don't want to discuss that, but let's just say it's good things. And I'm happy that I was able to have that chat with him and to see how interested he is and how open-minded he is and how accepting that he is, because we haven't had that in the past. So he definitely, in St. Lucia, I know the government is definitely working in making things a lot better for the LGBTQI community.
So do you think that, he really wants to help, or you think that it's probably the best thing to do right now to just, meet with you to somewhat set you at ease in terms of like telling you what you want to hear? Or did you genuinely feel like he actually wanted to help?
A lot of people have asked me the very same question. People said that he's probably just using me because of my following, because I do have a huge following and I do have great influence in terms of the young people in St. Lucia. So not only in St. Lucia, but throughout the Caribbean. Do I think he genuinely wants to help? I believe he does.
Okay.
I sincerely believe he does, because it could definitely backfire on him.
Okay. So now tell me about being open here in the US. What are some of the limitations you think being openly, gay here, or compared to St. Lucia?
I don't think there's any limitations there. In St. Lucia, being gay closed doors in my face. In the US, it opened doors. My personality, who I am, I get so many opportunities to do so many things. Persons willing to help me just because of who I am. In St. Lucia, it was hard to... I don't even know how to put it. I kind of get emotional because in St. Lucia, it's just, for me, when I was back home, the things that I wanted to do, I couldn't do because persons don't want to work with you. Up to now, you find artists here in the US who's not really big as it, reaches out to you to style them, do their makeup, maybe give them a few advice, help them in terms of stage presence and so on and so forth. In St. Lucia, none of the artists want to work with you. It's like you're gay. They don't know how to differentiate between business and between me being gay. When it comes to business, business is business and respect is everything, especially when it comes to my money. I don't play with my money. The opportunities that I've gotten for the past 6 years being in the US, I haven't received half of that in St. Lucia.
So tell me some of the things that you think that still needs to be done in the US. Do you think like it, the feel is pretty even for you and everyone else, or do you feel like you still have some ways to go, you still have some obstacles that need to be taken care of?
Individuals in society do still have a long way to go, but the fact that you're able to get married, the fact that you're able to kiss your partner in public, walk hands in hands with your partner, you're able to be yourself without being discriminated against, I think it's an amazing thing. I think the only problem I have, and when I say that, my peers tend to get upset. American gays, like gays who were born here and raised here, I feel they take what they have, the freedom that they have, for granted. I believe
In what way?
Let me not say they, but majority of them take the freedom for granted.
In what way?
They don't want to work. They're lazy. Some of them are lazy. Some of them, they go to work. Let's just assume Miami Carnival is coming up and they want to go to Miami Carnival. So they work for 3 months to make that money to go to Miami Carnival and then just leave the job. Some of them work just to go to the club. They do not work to achieve things, to have their own home, to have land, to have their own vehicle. Some of them, not all. They love fighting. I don't understand why, and I don't think they understand the gift that they have, which is freedom.
Do you blame them because, you know, they've never really had any sort of obstacles like you have? You
I
know?
don't blame them for that. That's not their fault that they haven't had any obstacle. But I want them to be able to understand that there are persons outside there, not only in the Caribbean, but other parts of the world, who want the opportunity that you all have. So it would be nice to be grateful, to appreciate what you have as a gay person. You know what I'm saying? Some majority of them, persons complain that there's no job. So how could I leave St Lucia? I was homeless. And now I'm holding 2 jobs. Now I'm doing extremely good. I'm getting what is mine. You know what I'm saying? You find persons who, except if you're Jamaican, because majority of the Jamaicans, they only come here to party and fight and smoke. But majority of other gays who migrate here, we fight. You know, we're hungry for success. And I just wish the American gays would be a little bit more grateful.
How did you become homeless?
That's a long story.
You could break it down to how simple and short as you can.
That's a long story. But I became homeless. But it wasn't for long. It was for like 3 months. But that was 3 of the hardest months of my life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was the hardest months of your life because you didn't feel like you had help, or because you wasn't open enough to reach out to people to help you?
I wasn't open enough to reach out to people to help me. But mind you, Marlon, I was homeless and you could never see me dirty. I was homeless and I was going to work, and my coworkers, my manager, nobody knew I was homeless. I just had to go get that money and do what I had to do. Yes, there were times I would go hungry. Yes, there was times I would go without having a shower. But I always made sure that I continued to grind.
What are some of the obstacles you think that someone, you know, who's not really discovered, fully discovered themselves, who doesn't have the support that you have, who's currently like, you know, struggling with like, you know, to keep up and being homelessness, like struggling to keep up maybe from being homeless, or to like, you know, really get on their feet financially? Like, what programs out there do you know of you think that might be able to like help them, or is there anything like that that's able to help them in the LGBTQI community?
I'm sure there is, but I'm not aware, because like I told you, I'm not really like I told you off camera, I'm not really part and parcel of the gay community here. I do not know gay people in the US. I mean, I see them, I hear them, I go to parties and so on, but I haven't really gotten involved in the community per se.
Okay, so some people are, you know, some people identify as other things. Some people are just gay. Some people are transgender. Where exactly do you fall in?
I'm not transgender, I could say that much. I'm just me. I do not like labels. I don't know why people label. I do not like labels. All I know is I am more on the feminine side. And I am not attracted to gay guys. I've never been attracted to gay guys. Persons don't understand, but it is just what... My husband is gay, I'll say that. My husband is special. He's very special. He's gay, so he's one of the few gay persons that I've gotten attracted to, but I'm more into masculine men who makes me feel feminine. I like men who's DL. I like men nobody knows about. I like the secrecy of it all. Yeah, but I'm not transgender or whatever. I do not like labels. All I know is I like to feel like I'm a real bitch. That's just it.
So how do you meet someone who's on the down low? Like, like how do you see someone? How do you get to know them? Is it like, is there like an app? Like, do you see someone? Do you like wink a certain way? Like, how do you approach someone? Because it's I would think it would be somewhat weird if you approach someone.
I don't approach. I never approach. I don't do apps because I think it's dangerous. But I don't meet them, they meet me. And they approach you. Some men are brave enough to approach you. If they like something they like to see, they approach you, they stare at you, they let you know, they wink, they do something. But the funny thing about me is I'm very picky. So, because I feel like, I don't care what anybody's saying in my mind. Persons tend to believe that everybody in the gay community is promiscuous. I don't understand why they think so. In a way, I do understand, because for most of us in the gay community, it's not about love. It's not about growing together. It's not about having something beautiful together. It's about who has the biggest penis. Who's the most masculine. They're into these kind of things. They're into, okay, they heard Davonte is packing. They just want to taste what Davonte have because I heard Davonte is packing. But for me, I'm into growing. I'm into love. So I'm very, very picky as to who I share my intimate moments with.
You told me that you're very talented. Tell me about you personally. What are your talents? What are you working on? You know, in a perfect world, what would you rather do?
I would rather, right now, at this very moment, work for myself. Financially, I'm unable to take that route as yet, but I'm sure I will. I'm a very resilient person. I'm a go-getter, very ambitious. Yeah, I'm very talented. I do a bit of interior decorating. I'm a certified massage therapist. I'm a certified makeup artist. I do styling. I enjoy entertaining. Some people think I'm a comedian, but I don't think I am. I'm just very straightforward, and I say the things people are scared of saying. Yeah, I do a bit of everything. So
what do you enjoy the most?
I love makeup. I love makeup and I enjoy styling. The only thing I cannot do when it comes to beauty is hair. I do not like hair. I love wearing hair, yes, but I do not like do somebody's hair, no. I like everything beauty, and I believe when I own a business one day, it will be around that field.
So I saw some of your photos, and a few of them stood out. One in particular, you were, I think, in the pool with your, your bathing suit.
Right.
So, like, what kind of, because honestly, this is the first time I ever saw someone with a bathing suit like the one that you had on.
Right.
So, what sort of feedback do you get from the public when you're out and about, having a good time, when you're wearing such different to me, that is, clothing?
I love dressing up, and I love taking photos. It's when I would just sit, do my makeup for 1 week. I love dressing up. Because I love fashion, and I believe if you love fashion, you have to always look the part. A lot of guys that I've met, straight guys, question, why do I wear makeup? I'm a makeup artist, and that's how I market myself. In the public, I do get a lot of compliments. Girls cannot understand. Persons compliment my body. Persons compliment the way I dress. They compliment my style, my personality. I love the compliments. Sometimes it's a bit too much, but I like it.
What are some of the mistakes you think ladies make in terms of understanding men?
Mistakes that ladies make in terms of understanding men. They don't compromise. They don't compromise. And I think ladies, it's not a matter of superior and inferior. It's just a matter of you have to understand that you have a boyfriend or a husband or a man, and in certain circumstances you have to allow that man to take control. Ladies want to outman the man, and that wouldn't work.
So what are your plans for the next 12 months? You know, like what are you excited about, and you know, how can people reach out to you?
Well, of course, I have Instagram, Davonte_Monaville. You could reach me on there. Yeah, that's where you could reach me. Nowhere else. I have really good big plans, Marlon. I do hope that they come into fruition. Yeah, I want to own my business, so maybe I'll just continue grinding and saving, and maybe find a sugar daddy somewhere. I don't know.
So how can someone, you know, help you to reach that to reach that goal? Like, what can we do, you know, in the public that could help you reach your goal faster?
My only hurdle right now is finance. That's my only hurdle. I did launch my makeup line, I think a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, no. Yes, that was the year before last. And I did very well, sold out 3 times. But then COVID came, hit me personally really hard, and then I had to end up using my finances on my daily life. So I had to put my makeup line on hold until I'm ready to start again. So finance, and I think I will get it done, don't worry. Yeah, and I do hope everything works out for you and for me. So yeah, that's it.
All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome.